You're watching CBC News Network. I'm Hannah Thibodeau. Here are your top stories. The investigation proceeds in a mass killing in Edmonton. 9 people are dead, including the suspect. Autopsies are set for tomorrow. Bodies from the Indonesian air disaster are returning to the city where the plane took off. Now, the grim task of identification begins. Investigators believe they have found the aircraft. And Team Canada looks to keep its perfect record alive at the World Junior Hockey Championship. Today's opponent, the United States. Edmonton is coming to grips with what officials are calling the worst mass slaying there in 50 years. A man killed 6 adults and 2 young children in 2 separate homes, then killed himself at a third site. Police say the murders were planned and deliberate. So far, they haven't identified the killer, but he was well known to them. 2 years ago, he was arrested at one of the murder locations and charged with domestic and sexual assault. Erin Collins is outside one of the crime scenes in Edmonton and joins us now live. So, Erin, can you walk us through what we know so far?
Well, what we know is that this is still a very, very active investigation. Just in the last half an hour, we've seen the forensics team show up here at one of the homes that you were mentioning there. This is the home in North Edmonton where 7 bodies were discovered, including 2 young children. This investigation isn't just focused here, though. Police say they're also visiting the other 2 connected crime scenes here. Now, one of those is another home on the south side of this city where a 37-year-old woman was discovered first in this sort of chain of events. The final crime scene that they're looking into is a restaurant located in the small town of Fort Saskatchewan, about 30 minutes outside of Edmonton. The collection of crime scenes, obviously a challenge for police, and something that the chief of police here in Edmonton says he hasn't seen the likes of in his 39 years of policing. Here's what he had to say.
It's horrific. I mean, the scene was described to me. I went up to it probably a couple hours ago. I was up at the scene, and it's chaotic. It's been described as chaotic. It's horrific. It's tremendously, particularly when there's children involved.
And now, Hannah, you mentioned that the man who was found at that third scene in Fort Saskatchewan, he is the man that police believe is responsible for the other 8 deaths in this case.
So what comes next in the investigation?
Well, I think there's sort of 2 strands here. The investigation obviously continuing here with the forensics teams going through these sites. Tomorrow, there'll be an autopsy on all 9 of the bodies. As far as sort of what's going on in this community and what's going on here in the greater Edmonton area, it's a coming to grips of this tragedy. This is a difficult thing to comprehend, especially when children are involved, especially around this time of year. It's really something that's shocked this community. You can see a makeshift memorial starting to sort of build up here in front of the home where those young children were found. And I think that what's going on here as far as the community goes is trying to answer that question, why? Why did this happen? And that's going to be part of the process that the police are helping with as they sort of start to answer the questions behind this tragic series of deaths.
Erin Collins, thanks for the latest. That's Erin Collins in Edmonton.